If you ever visit a 12th century Scottish abbey, chances are you're expecting stained glass, worn stone walls, and echoes of sacred hymns, not the haunting grin of a Hollywood monster staring down from the heavens. But if you happen to glance up at Paisley Abbey, nestled just 7 miles from Glasgow, you'll spot something that doesn't belong among medieval saints and biblical beasts. There, carved into the ancient structure, is what appears to be a xenomorph. Yes, that xenomorph, the acid-blooded terror from Ridley Scott's Alien. So, what on Earth, or beyond it, is an alien doing on the side of a church built centuries before Sigourney Weaver ever picked up a flamethrower? Well, the answer is just as bizarre as the gargoyle itself. It all blew up in late 2013. A photo started making the rounds on social media, showing what looked unmistakably like the monster from Alien perched high above the Abbey's entrance. At first, people thought it was a hoax, maybe a Photoshop job or a model someone snuck up there. But no, it was real. The creature's elongated head, skeletal body, even its slithering stance, all of it carved in stone, weathered by years of Scottish rain. And that kicked off a mystery that fascinated fans of horror, history, and architecture alike. How did a monster from a 1979 sci-fi film end up on a church that dates back to 1163? To understand why this alien's presence is so strange, you have to know a little about Paisley Abbey. Built nearly 900 years ago, the Abbey has played a key role in Scottish history. It was once a powerful religious center, home to monks who arrived in the 12th century under the patronage of Walter Fitzalan, the first High Steward of Scotland. That same noble bloodline eventually led to the Stuart royal dynasty. This wasn't just a church, it was a cornerstone of Scottish culture and politics. Even national hero William Wallace is believed to have studied there. And in 1316, Marjorie Bruce, daughter of Robert the Bruce, gave birth to the future King Robert II right inside its walls. So, yeah, it's got some weight behind it. Over the centuries, the Abbey has seen fires, collapses, restorations, and periods of ruin. And like many Gothic churches, it was decorated with gargoyles, grotesque figures that doubled as rainspouts before modern drainage systems were a thing. But by the late 20th century, many of those gargoyles had crumbled into near nothingness, victims of time, pollution, and relentless Scottish weather. Fast forward to 1991. As part of a restoration project, Paisley Abbey decided to replace 12 of its badly eroded gargoyles. So they brought in skilled stonemasons to carve new ones, faithful in function, but free in design. That's when, allegedly, one cheeky craftsman decided to have a little fun. Inspired by the then relatively recent popularity of Alien and its iconic monster, the stonemason crafted a gargoyle that looked suspiciously like H.R. Geiger's terrifying creation. Long head, ridged exoskeleton, eerie presence. The resemblance was no accident. According to Reverend Alan Burse of Paisley Abbey, who spoke to the BBC, the idea was likely just a whimsical take on what an alien might look like. He said, "I think it was a stonemason having a bit of fun. Perhaps the film was fairly new when they were carving this. If he was thinking of an alien, maybe that alien from the film was his idea." And to avoid any copyright heat from 20th Century Fox, the Reverend was quick to add, "I'm sure he wasn't deliberately copying the alien in the film. It was just a concept." Sure. Oddly enough, the alien gargoyle went relatively unnoticed for over a decade. An internet post dating back to 1997 first pointed it out. But this was the early internet. Dial-up days, no virality. It wasn't until the photo resurfaced in 2013 that it exploded across social platforms. Suddenly, a quiet abbey in a quiet Scottish town became a minor mecca for sci-fi fans. Alien lovers, tourists, and skeptics all made the pilgrimage to Paisley to see it for themselves. Even during Paisley's campaign to become the UK's City of Culture in 2021, the gargoyle became something of a mascot, proudly featured on the town's Facebook page. They didn't win the title. Coventry took that honor. But, hey, Coventry doesn't have an alien on a church wall. Just saying. The alien gargoyle has sparked debates, chuckles, and more than a few raised eyebrows. But when you think about it, it kind of fits. Gargoyles were always meant to be grotesque, to shock. In medieval times, they were symbols of chaos and evil. a reminder of the dangers lurking outside the sacred walls. So, placing a literal monster from modern mythology on a centuries-old church, maybe that's not so strange after all. In fact, it's almost poetic. A 20th century nightmare, frozen in stone among medieval legends, bridging centuries of human fear, imagination, and craftsmanship. So, no, Paisley Abbey isn't harboring ancient alien secrets or time-traveling stonemasons. Just a very clever, slightly mischievous craftsman who left behind an Easter egg for future generations. And in doing so, he ensured that Paisley Abbey isn't just a relic of the past. It's a place where history, horror, and humor collide. So next time you're in Scotland, look up. You never know what might be watching.